The views and opinions of this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. There is substantial risk of loss in trading futures and options, which you should carefully consider prior to trading. And as we continue our conversations here at the 2025 NAFB convention in Kansas City, Missouri, let's talk with AgriGold. John Breen, Agronomy Division Manager for AgriGold, joins us here today. And John, it is good to connect with you again, sir. How are you?
I am great, Jesse. How are you?
I'm really, really good. Thanks for the time. Get us up to speed. I know you are in Ohio. How did the Eastern Corn Belt finish out this 2025 growing season? I know in particular in Ohio, I heard some challenges depending on the geography and throughout the Eastern Corn Belt. So how did things wrap up this year?
Well, I think the word that we can use no matter where you're at this year, it finished variable.
Yeah.
So just depending on planting date, weather, rainfall, lack of rainfall, really determined how that crop finished. But overall, crops were good. No records, but no disasters in the East. Farmers were able to harvest a crop that will allow them to do this again next year.
Well, obviously, a lot of takeaways you can get from every growing season, and thinking about this year and all the different challenges that were out there, whether it's southern rust or rootworm or you name it, all the different things. But you look at this season, the last few, as you kind of got to get that aggregate of data, so to speak, to start making decisions for next year, right, John?
It's right. Yeah, so every year's different. Every year seems to be more extreme than the last, but I think it's important that you take your notes, take your data, and really look at that to fine-tune your plan. So what's really interesting is when you think about yield-building traits or practices, they don't change. But really what changes and what success is, how do you fine-tune the plan for your farm? Sure. And that's where we use that data and observations from this past year.
And I think about this too. Let's talk about seed diversity and why it's important for farmers to have a diverse seed choice lineup. And I know AgriGold, you guys have plenty of great choices in your lineup, but why is that so important on an operation, John?
So as I think about seed diversity, there's three things that really come to mind when it comes to growers and the choice. And the first one is weather. The second one is disease pressure. And the third one is grain fill duration. So when we go to weather, when you think about weather, the weather conditions affect performance every year. When it comes to genetics, that particular weather pattern can have the ability to really amplify the strengths of that genetics, or it can actually expose some limitations. So having a diverse mix of genetics allows you to really have that consistent performance from year to year, because you don't really know how the genetic and that environment are going to interact. So having multiple genetics from different families and backgrounds really helps negate that. The second one is disease. When you think about here recently, the severity of disease has greatly increased. We've seen disease move in earlier than normal, causing us more longer-term problems, and we can't really predict where it's going to hit from one year to the next. So this year we saw quite a bit of variations in hybrid performance based upon disease resistance. Last year it performed extremely well. This year may have struggled because a new disease came in. So having a mix of genetics helps you mitigate some of that disease pressure. And then the third one there is the grain fill duration. So that weather interaction and that grain fill duration affects genetics differently. Some like a long grain fill period, some like a shorter grain fill period. So depending if like in the East, we didn't get any rain in the month of August.
Yeah.
That negatively affected some genetics, but not others. So understanding why that genetic did what it did and what those three factors played into that help growers understand this year's performance, but more importantly, plan for next year's hybrid list as well.
And why should farmers, I guess I'll think about it this way, how many different, say, corn hybrids should they be thinking about on their operation? We know every field's different. Heck, you can go from one end of a field to another and have different soil profiles and more, and different things you need to take into consideration. So how many different hybrids should a farmer be looking at on their operation?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's very hard to pin down, depending on where you're at and what you're doing. So like I like to view this as success doesn't come in a particular number. Where success comes into is the diversity within your lineup. Three products, extremely diverse, are going to fit that very well. 5 products, extremely diverse, may fit that very well. Whereas you could have 4 products being of the same genetic background. That doesn't do you any good at all. So it's more about the diversity than it is the number.
Well, and obviously thinking about next year, everyone's making those decisions now. What in the AgriGold lineup excites you the most heading into 2026, John?
Oh, we've got some new products coming down the pipeline that do multiple things. So when I think about a product in today's environment, it has to be able to cover quite a few acres and do quite a few things. So plant health matters. Trying to find products that plant health matters and really helps growers mitigate that disease scenario. Growers have large planters in bulk fill. It's got to be able to cover multiple acres in that planter. If you fill the planter up for a specific field and it rains, are you going to empty the planter out? No. So we've got products like A645-55. It's a new 115-day product that covers those bases. And then on the earlier side of 108, 638-91. That has really shined in a lot of these heavy disease environments, heavy weather environments, has been able to be very resilient in those. So those are just 2 small examples. But from an agro perspective, we're trying to find products that fit what growers are looking for to help them in their operation to ease that management burden.
What else would you reiterate to growers as they think about lessons learned from this year and more, and they're gearing up for next year? What would you really remind them, reiterate to them as they're starting to make those decisions here as we head towards the end of the year?
Yeah, I've got 2 big ones. So the first one is plant health matters. If you are a grower who has not addressed plant health in the past or have a plan for plant health, boy, this is the year to start thinking about what that plan looks like. And if you are a grower who has been concerned with plant health, keep being concerned. It's a huge one. And the second one is stick to your plan. I see many growers who, in the heat of the moment, throw their plan out the window. And when you throw your plan out the window, you're running away from progress and really into panic.
Yeah.
And that really has not fared well for growers who have just ditched their plan in the middle of the season. Stick to it. You built it for a reason. It'll treat you well.
And if they want to learn more, reach out to their local AgriGold agronomist, representative, retailer, go online. I'm sure a lot of ways to get in touch to learn more and get started as they're thinking about next year, right, John?
Sure is. www.agrigold.com is a great place to start.
John Breen, Agronomy Division Manager with AgriGold. Thanks for joining us here in Kansas City for Trade Talk. Good to talk with you again, and we'll look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Make sure to subscribe to the Market Talk YouTube channel. You can watch our latest interviews with top market analysts in the country, find bonus content, and much more. It's easy. Just go to youtube.com/@MarketTalkAg and hit the subscribe button. Or you can search for Market Talk Ag on YouTube.